Our distinguished speaker today is Judge J. Michelle Childs, a member of the Duke Law Master of Judicial Studies class of 2016. Judge Childs is a judge on the United States District Court for the District of South Carolina, serving in that role since 2010. In January, she was nominated by President Joe Biden to a seat on the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit, and she was one of 3 judges the President considered this spring to replace retiring Justice Stephen Breyer on the U.S. Supreme Court. Judge Childs is a graduate of the University of South Florida, where she earned a bachelor's degree in management, and she earned a JD and a master's in personnel and employment relations from the University of South Carolina. After graduation, she joined Nexsen Pruet as an associate, eventually rising to become the first Black woman partner at a major law firm in South Carolina. In 2000, South Carolina Governor Jim Hodges appointed Judge Childs Deputy Director of the State Department of Labor, Licensing, and Regulation, and 2 years later to the South Carolina Workers' Compensation Commission. Her judicial career began in 2006, when the South Carolina legislature elected her to serve as an at-large circuit court judge. In late 2009, President Barack Obama nominated Judge Childs to the U.S. District Court, and she received Senate confirmation by voice vote in August 2010. Judge Childs is the president-elect of the Federal Judges Association and a member of the American Law Institute, and she sits on the Leadership Council of Duke Law School's Bolt's Judicial Institute. Last month, she received the Duke Law Alumni Association's Charles S. Murphy Award for Achievement in Civic Service, honoring her commitment to the common good through service to the community. We are delighted to have this distinguished and path-breaking alumna address the class of 2022 today. Judge Childs.
Good evening. It is my honor and pleasure to address Duke University School of Law's graduating class of 2022. What a glorious day. Thank you, Dean Abrams, for your generous introduction and for the invitation to speak at these commencement exercises. I also thank the faculty and staff and the board for this celebration that made this day possible. I would especially like to take a moment to recognize my soon-to-be fellow alumni of the Master of Judicial Studies program, Judge Stephanie K. Bowman from the Southern District of Ohio, just wave, Judge Noel Lawrence Hillman from the District of New Jersey, Judge Lawrence Browning Van Meter of the Kentucky Supreme Court, Judge William Kenneth Hastings from the District Court of New Zealand, and Judge Francois Kuntz from the Supreme Court of New South Wales in Australia. I'm especially appreciative to be in Cameron Stadium for the second time, a place of many national basketball championships. In fact, a recent basketball survey found that Duke has the wildest student section, the loudest student section, and the best dressed student section. So today, due to your accomplishments, I order you to be all these things. As we celebrate each and every one of you today, along with your families, teachers, mentors, and friends who nurtured you along the way, I want to take a moment to recognize the tremendous challenges you overcame. Your time in law school was interrupted by an unprecedented global pandemic, and faced with this invisible enemy, you grappled with tremendous losses, battled grief, frustration, and isolation. But let it serve as a monument to what you are capable of achieving even in the most turbulent times. And while law school was in lockdown, and it may have affected your experience of some of your cherished Duke law traditions, I hope your newly forged traditions, including your unwavering community spirit, unyielding and steadfast commitment to each other and our broader society, continues to shape you as you embark on your next chapter of law school as a graduate. When I stood in your shoes as a young law student, I had no idea what the future held. But do not shy away from opportunities and know that when you are ready, they will find you. Behind each elevation in my career was someone who saw more in me based on my work ethic, temperament, and character. It led me to a law firm partnership, 2 back-to-back gubernatorial appointments, 2 nominations by 2 different US presidents. Yes, my humble brag. Though the timing was not always by my schedule, I firmly believe that what is for you will be for you under your God's timing. My task always, and your task now, is to use your education, your skills, and your hope for the future to ensure that when these doors open, you are prepared to walk through them and pull others through with you. For me, this belief led me to the Duke Law Masters of Judicial Studies program, where I hope to participate in the vibrant exchange of ideas and learn about emerging legal issues from some of the brightest minds in our nation and the world. The skills and knowledge instilled by this fine institution and the treasured connections it allowed me to foster with faculty, colleagues, and new friends, it undoubtedly prepared me to meet the challenges of which I could only dream. And years later, when I was first nominated to the United States Court of Appeals for the DC Circuit, and then came into consideration as a potential nominee for the Supreme Court of the United States, it prepared me to meet my moment. Many of the individuals right on this stage, the whole Duke family stood behind me. When I finally had my confirmation hearing for my nomination to the DC Circuit before the US Senate Judiciary Committee last week, I knew no matter the question, no matter the level of scrutiny, a life's worth of aspiration, preparation, and determination had trained me for that moment. And now I'm ready to embark on this new adventure to the DC Circuit, what some have called the second highest court in our nation, with matters of national importance related to congressional action, executive power, and national security, where they are all adjudicated. You too are ready for the most unimaginable and unexpected opportunities. Now, as I welcome you into this ancient and admirable profession, I want to reflect on its purpose in these tumultuous times. In a few short months, you will take your oaths and swear into the bars of your respective jurisdictions. As you give your inviolable promise to support and uphold the nation's Constitution, you will join the legal profession not merely as counselors and advocates, though these are certainly important roles, but as officers of the court. As officers, you must always be honest in your dealings with everyone and uphold the integrity of the judicial process. This duty binds lawyers, each of you, as of today, to the third branch of government, our courts. Together we hold the practice and administration of law in trust. This great responsibility requires us to guard the cherished rule of law upon which our democracy rests, especially in times of conflict and strife. Inevitably, conflict will arise in a democratic society, and it requires fair, impartial, and peaceful resolution. Our Constitution, in its own terms, embraces conflict and urges us to work through it, always progressing toward a more perfect union. It is up to the judiciary branch to maintain order and independence in the face of disagreement and preserve the balance of power between the branches of government. Courts uphold the Constitution's timeless words, which protect our precious individual freedoms and establish the framework of our democratic institutions. And as lawyers and officers of the court, Your duty is to give life to these words, to secure these blessings of liberty. That falls upon you. In these 3 short years, you have encountered and participated in legal debates surrounding the pandemic, challenges to civil rights laws and individual liberties, and witnessed the atrocities of a war. And as you prepare to meet the challenges of our time, elevate yourself to this promise of democracy, but of course it has perils. You have to ensure the unpopular, the poor, and those on the margins are protected equally, just as to those who are rich and powerful, and that all voices yearning for justice will be heard. Whether you represent individuals, organizations, plaintiffs or defendants, this nation or its states, uphold the bedrock promise of the Constitution and enforce its guarantees for all. You uphold the rule of law, but you also have to fight the gaps in its application. It's going to be difficult, and at times in crisis, it can carry an inordinate cost. But I hope you'll always recall the courageous stories of lawyers and judges who answered the call for the greater good, even at personal risk. Think of judges who, unswayed by great pressure, whether by the high-profile case or the nature of the litigation, disgruntled litigants who threatened the security of the judges and their families, even to the death of family members, they still show up, day after day, offering all a fair chance to be heard. Remember your clinic professors and cherished alumni who devote their lives to the communities right here in North Carolina, representing the important issues that matter to everyone. They expand access to justice through legal aid, provide zealous public defense, or spearhead ethical prosecution. These lawyers and judges represent the best of us. Commit to these principles. Allow them to reach your work. Be courageous, play fair, display your honest character, for your reputation is always at stake. Your actions will have a cumulative effect on societal justice. Your work every day behind the scenes builds that more perfect union over time. You're now the face of our profession, so answer this call. You are the champions of justice. You seek truth to guard the rule of law and through your sacred oath. Now, generally when I'm in a jury trial, the jury charge may take a little while because we might have been in trial a week and there are issues there. So just at this one instance, stand up, stretch, and exhale. All right, but I always tell them too, first you can be seated, that there's not much more to go, but trust me, when I say that your Duke degree has prepared you abundantly to reach the highest levels of this profession as you build your careers, I want to advise you not to set your sights on targeting any particular position or scale of wealth. Focus on developing your skills. Allow destiny to direct you where you're needed. Serve people, not just professional accomplishments. Step into your role for your community, your clients, your environment, and your nation. As a graduation speaker, I was asked to inspire you, but I must say that as I look at each of you and I've learned about what you've been accomplishing, I'm inspired by you. Your stories are as unique as each one of you, and I've learned that you all, through studying through classes, internships, clinics, and countless pro bono hours, you tried cases and argued appeals. You grappled with the legal edges of the cutting of the law. You fought for the wrongfully convicted and unjustly evicted and defended the environment and the First Amendment. You represent grassroots nonprofit organizations and you gained better access to the law. You inspired all of us standing before you in these trying times. So as you enter the practice of law, don't place a premium on competition or self-advancement, but remember the shoulders upon which you stand and recognize that sometimes your extraordinary contribution may be how you inspire someone else. So I leave you with this quote also from Justice Thurgood Marshall, who urged that in recognizing the humanity of our fellow beings, we pay ourselves the highest tribute. And today, we recognize each of you. Here, we all sit as one diverse community, embracing and enriching each other's lives and our profession. So I give you my sincerest blessing and most ardent hopes for your future success and happiness. Thank you for allowing me to celebrate with you.